And I didn't know that. And so when it was like that, I just said to myself, you know something? I understand it's a rare moment in this industry, but our relationship is on a different level. And so he's the kind of person that I can, or rather I'm the kind of, for him, I'm one of the few people on the planet that can pull him aside and tell him anything. Talk to him about anything because of the relationship, the brotherhood that we got. He's like a little brother to me. So because of that, it's like, all right, the hell with all of this journalism stuff or whatever. It's on another level with me and him. And from this day forward, anything that I say is going to be to him. I got nothing to say about him unless it's to him. And so from that point forward, you know, he retired thereafter. We talk at least 2-3 times a month. He's always calling me, and I'm always calling him, checking up on each other, and that's our relationship.
Yeah, we love our life. One more thing before we move on to the next. With being what's going on with everything with Skip and sharing everything, would you want to work with Skip again now?
No, but it has nothing to do with it. Seriously, it has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with Skip.
Okay.
Look, yo, fellas.
I mean, listen, not to cut you off. I know it's contracts and everything else. Everything is clear out the way contractually, and you had the opportunity to work today. No.
Would you send somebody to work with Skip?
Yeah, but I want to hear his reason why not.
All right.
My life has moved in a different direction. I'm not just the host of First Take, I'm the executive producer. I got my own production company. I got my own podcast that I own and operate. I'm doing a little acting these days. I got a recurrent role on a soap opera, General Hospital. I mean, I never tried to act unless in my life I need to. I need help. But the point is that I'm doing a lot of things now, and it's important to me to do that on my own now. When I think about me on First Take, I honestly view myself as somebody that's facilitating success for a whole bunch of people that I'm bringing on the show. I got mine. And so because I got mine and I was able to accomplish and do what I do, I'm out to do different things now. If you notice, I brought that cat, Kenny Beecham, that's got his own spot on YouTube right now as a basketball guru. I'm looking for young talent that I'm going to bring on and stuff like that. I see people that work for ESPN, Ryan Clark, Marcus Spears, and others. I'm looking at their success. Well, it grew on First Take in part. And so for me, knowing the executives, having the relationships that I have, speaking up for cats, you see ladies like Monica McNutt and Kimberly Martin and others, and Mina Kimes and people like that. Dan Orlovsky even. It's not just the brothers, it's black, it's white, it's male, it's female. Molly's still with me on First Take. I'm looking at myself as a person that's going to do everything that I can to set up opportunities, not just for people who are there with me, but folks want to come up. You, one day, you going to be there. You know, if I can have anything to say about it, I'm just looking for opportunities. I'm looking at y'all, I'm looking at everybody. Cam knows, you know, you roll up on me, yo, man, I need your advice. I need your, here it is, no problem.
I definitely call for advice.
It's all about that, because if I'm not doing that, then what purpose do I serve? I've been very blessed and fortunate enough to achieve a level of success that most people in my industry haven't achieved. I'm not going to do that and be at the top all by myself. I want to bring as many people with me as I possibly can, as many of us as I possibly can. I ain't apologize for that shit to nobody. I certainly want to facilitate success for a lot of people, but especially my brothers and sisters. That's just the way that I roll. And so for me to be able to help cats along the way, I'm good with that, because I got other visions, I've got other dreams and aspirations that I'm after. So that's why I wouldn't work with Skip.
Got you. Before we go into any athletes, I want to talk about a few of your contemporaries. Sure. So it's no secret that after a couple of years, you didn't want Max Kellerman on the show.
Right, correct.
A lot of people be like, Stephen A. got Max kicked off the show. Why did he get Max kicked off the show? I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it when Max left First Take. The very next week, he was on 2 different shows on ESPN. Right. So what I want to ask you is this. Before Max left First Take, did you make sure that he had another slot on ESPN with another job? Or was you like, figure it out, we done this 2-3 years?
I absolutely knew that he had landing spots.
Okay.
I absolutely knew that he had landing spots. And I don't like talking about it too much because people try to make it into something that it isn't. I do not dislike Max. I do not hate Max, nothing like that. I certainly didn't want him fired and to be without a job.
Right.
I did not want to work with him anymore.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
I thought that we had reached our limit. I thought that the show was stale and it needed a change with us. I was even willing to leave First Take if you wanted to keep him there and let him do First Take. I knew that we together would not win. And because of that, I let them know this is what I feel. Now, you do what you want to do. You keep them, You keep me, you move him, you move me, whatever decision you make. But I'm telling you where I stand. Fully aware of the fact that once they made that decision, he was going to be all right. He had his dollars. He had his contract. He wasn't going
That's how
anywhere.
I looked at it.
He wasn't going anywhere. And so to me, it was all about me making it clear I didn't want to work with him anymore because I didn't believe we could win together anymore. And the discomfort and all of that other stuff, it really didn't matter to me because I had told him this to his face on many occasions. He understood exactly the way I
I've seen some
felt.
episodes myself when you explain
That's right. And I told him,
Do you think he felt the same?
no,
No.
but I don't care.
Well,
I still don't care. I don't care because I meant what I said. I'm trying to win. And if I feel like the formula is a losing formula, then I'm going to change. We watch sports. We talk about sports all the time. You know what? This cats that LeBron loved, how come they ended up for Cleveland? How come they ended up out of Miami? How come they end up out of LA? Because they didn't contribute to a winning formula. The same with D-Wade, the same with Kobe, the same with Shaq, the same with MJ, the same with everybody. When you're trying to win, okay, complacency and just collecting the check ain't cutting it. And so to me, if you're going to reach a point where you don't believe that you can get it done together, if you're trying to win, you care. If you're trying to get paid and that's all you care about, then you don't care. Now, I can't speak for what he felt, but I let him know what I felt. And that's why I've never harbored a scintilla of guilt. I said what I meant what I said. I didn't say he wasn't a talent. I didn't say he should not have a job. I didn't say that he shouldn't have made his paper. I said none of those things. All I ever said was he and I don't work together. Let him work with somebody else. He worked with Marcellus Wiley or somebody. He might do some things. He worked with Shannon Sharp or somebody. He might do some things. He worked with other people. He might do some things. With me, he and I did not work for me anymore because I knew that wasn't going to be a winning for me.
Right. Let me get one more of your contemporaries. So this is Cam's opinion. So he's got 20 years straight. Brian Windhurst. Great job he does for ESPN.
Right.
But my thing with him is how he got to ESPN. And I wanted to get your opinion on this because to me, in the outside looking in, I may be oblivious and don't have the knowledge of this, but it looked like to me you're from Cleveland or Ohio in that area. You follow LeBron James around for his high school career, and then when LeBron gets to the NBA because of the big name he is, that you get a job automatically on ESPN without doing the other work that you or anybody else may have to do. I don't think that's fair, and I don't know if that's how it went. If that is how it went, he gets this job because of LeBron. How do you feel about that?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I think that Brian Windhorst is a sensational basketball analyst.
I think he's great what he's been doing.
He does a great job. He really, really does. I love having him on my shows.
Right.
I tell you, he's never disappointed me.
Absolutely.
That's number one. Number two, I don't know all the particulars of what he was doing before he got to ESPN.
Okay.
Here's what I would tell you. You might be blaming the wrong person.
Okay.
How about blame LeBron? See,
Explain
we don't talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
this. We don't talk about
Yes,
this.
yeah, I would like to hear this.
Brian Windhorst, first of all, one of the things about ESPN, understand something. We don't keep scrubs. You might get through the door for a second. You ain't lasting unless you can get it done.
Right.
And there's a whole bunch of cats at ESPN that can get it done, and Brian Windhorst is one of them. You listen to this brother, it speaks for
Yeah,
itself.
and not because that was what I was saying. He does a great job. My
I know
question
you
is,
said-
how did he get in the door?
But my point is this. If you get in the door because you decide to turn LeBron into a beat, meaning instead of covering the team, cover him.
Right.
You're going to pick the person most identifiable with him.
Gotcha.
That's fine. No problem at all. Again, I don't know if that's the case, but let's just take your hypothetical because it could be right. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just know he does a great job for us. But what I would say to you is this. We live in a day and age, particularly when it comes to black folks in this industry. Say what you want about MJ, but who was his man?
Me?
Marvin Shaw.
Right.
Marvin Shaw was a former NFL player.
Right.
But he was at NBC, and everybody knew, you want to talk to MJ, Marvin Shaw was his guy.
Right.
You know, you look at Shaq, you look at Kobe, so they, it spoke to me.
Right.
You know, they spoke to other people, they spoke to me, my boys,
Right.
AI, needless to say, etc., etc.
Right.
LeBron James, Brian Windhorst, and Rachel Nichols.
Right.
That's your call. You got every right to do what you do. But I'm just saying to you, and I've said this before. I said, listen, there's no shade, there's no knock on anybody. Everybody can do what they want to do. But I'm in Miami. What did it say? Cameron was like, yo, dog, you be free. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Consider it done. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got people that you look out for, and you want to big up the industry. And one of the things that I said, to LeBron, a lot of people sit up there and say to me, yo, man, y'all never sit down. You ain't sit down with LeBron in the longest time, really, since I called him out about his performance against the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals. But I'm cool as hell with LeBron. He's cool people. He's good people, great role model. But we don't rap like that. We just cordial, respectful, and we keep our separate ways. But my issue was, where's the brother or sister that's attached to you?
Right. I see what you say that on many occasions. I wasn't sure exactly. I can't remember what it was, but superstars, like you said, should have a liaison, so to speak, like yourself, or like Muhammad Ali.
I said it doesn't need to be me. I like this. I wasn't speaking up for myself. Right. You got cats like Chris Haynes that's working for the NBA, does great work on TNT. Yeah. You got Marcus Spears who's been covering the NBA for us, for the undefeated and all of that stuff, and and all of this other stuff for ESPN, along with a host of others. Chris Broussard was at ESPN before he went to Fox. He used to work in Akron, Ohio. Right. He used to work for the Akron Beacon Journal. He used to do work on the Cavaliers and stuff like that. So when you look at certain cats, and it's like, again, I would pick up the phone, call Dwayne Wade, what you need. Right. Floyd Money Mayweather, what you need. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or a whole bunch of athletes I'm calling. It's like, yo, yeah, you talk to everybody, but you understand the climate that we're living in, the trials and tribulations that we have to go through as minorities in this nation, et cetera, et cetera. And so when you look at white guys, who they talking to? Who's the brother or sister that's their liaison? Right. I haven't seen one. You understand? There's always one of them. Right. But when it comes to us, that ain't always the case. And so for me, I wouldn't look at Windhorst. I wouldn't look at any of these cats. I would look directly at the athlete, because I'm telling you something right now. Me being in a position that I'm in, guess what? I'm speaking to you. Guess who I'm gonna be speaking to a few days, a few hours, or a day or so later? It's gonna be the Sports Brothers here in Miami. Why? Because they were on the graveyard shift. They were on at midnight. Ask them. They asked me to come on. I came on live at 2 a.m. Wow. 2 a.m. Why? Because they were young brothers trying to make it. Right. And they asked me to do them that favor. And I stayed up and I did it just to help them. Isaiah Thomas, the great Isaiah Thomas, two-time NBA champion, national champion Indiana, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest point guards ever, gave me my first NBA interview. I was a high school reporter. He stopped the media session and walked over to me and said, what you need, young fella? That was the first time I ever met Isaiah Thomas in 1993. I remember stuff like that. Right. People sit up there and you got Jordan, you got Amar Rashad and all this other stuff, but he's MJ, he got the Jordan brand. Well, I got him on speed dial. Right. Because it's me. He don't do that for everybody. Right. Because I'm not Lamar Rashad, I'm not Michael Wilbon, but outside of those two, I'm me, and Michael Jordan got that kind of love for me. Kobe, God rest his soul, the Black Mamba. How many times you seen me doing interviews with him? He ain't talking to the media.
Shut up, Zazos. You're being a bitch. You're acting like a bitch, nigga.
Stuff like that. And what I do is I pay it forward. The same thing that they did for me, I try to do for cats in this industry. That's what it's about. Either you got that in your soul, or you don't.
Right. That's what's up. So look, let's move on. Yeah. We have the same view as us up here, with Scottie Pippen, with this nonsense going on with Michael Jordan. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. We're a little more raunchy than you are on our show. Yeah.
Y'all can be.
Yeah, we can.
Work for the mouse. Work for the mouse.
So we want to know is, because we got our own opinion. Right. Do you think this place is coming purely from basketball, or that Michael Jordan is dating his baby's mother?
Michael Jordan,
Jordan's son, pardon me, is dating his baby's mother.
An ex-wife.
Yeah. Do you think all this hate towards Michael Jordan is cause of that, or it's just purely basketball? But Scottie makes it like it's only basketball, and I think it's some things that's outside of basketball.
I don't know the answer to that question. I addressed it on my podcast, Stephen A. Smith Show, and I just said, yo, is it that? I did ask the question because I don't know.
Right.
What I do know is that you're a 6-time champion. This man was your teammate and the star of the team that you were on all 6 championships.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up, Zazu!
You had the migraine.
Bitch, nigga.
He wasn't there when you quit and refused to enter the game because Phil Jackson didn't want you. He was there telling you don't sign that contract, sign it, felt underpaid by. He was there for all that. And, you know,
You're a fucking bitch, bro.
To just go off on MJ like this now, it's like, wait a minute. You know, I saw when you kicked up your sneakers show, you were wearing the Jordans, begging them to come back. I saw all of that. So I mean, come on, man, what you doing? And so, I mean, it was really unfortunate that Scotty would do that. I don't know the answer to that question as a reporter, but I will tell you this: as a man, it's not far-fetched. If I got an issue with you, I'm jealous. I don't make your money. I feel you should have looked out for me better than you may have. You know, The Last Dance, you had editorial control over that, and look at how you portrayed me in that. In my mind, yeah, that might agitate me, no doubt about it. But if that agitates you, I can't imagine how his son hooking up with your ex-wife.
Right.
Will not agitate you. Now, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. I mean, some of us are there. Some of us are made from a different cloth. If I'm with you, I'm with you. If I'm not with you, I have my time. Live your life.
Right.
You know. But there are some other people, some other men, that have a very, very difficult time moving on. In that regard, that's not unreasonable. But I don't get into it because that's so personal.
Right.
And if he did feel that way, you sort of can't blame him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you can't control his son. You know, because it's entirely possible the father would have went to the son, and the son like, yo, Dad, I love you, man. I'm a grown man, and this is what I want to do. That is possible, but I'm just saying that we just don't know, and I don't want to speculate it because I wouldn't even blame him. I wouldn't even blame him if he did feel that way. I really wouldn't.
That shit cost you pain.
I can see Mike going to him, and I can see his son just saying.
That shit is because Scotty is mad because your team, that's my opinion, that Scotty's upset, like you said. You can't be mad at Scotty, but yo, your acting, it sounds so crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's Mike.
A horrible player.
A horrible player is ridiculous, man. It's
You're dealing with the greatest player who's ever lived. You know, you came into the league averaging 7. Michael Jordan averaged 28 his rookie year.
Yeah.
His rookie year.
Yeah.
10-time scoring champion, 9-time All NBA defensive player, 6-time champion, 6 NBA Finals MVPs. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Really, that's what we're doing?
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
It's clear to me. If you ask me, it's
too.
definitely over women, and I understand that because I went through that a lot.
I don't think it's the only thing, though. It's got to be some of it's got to be the envy part because, listen, remember, Michael Jordan owns the Jordan brand, and he's one of the few black billionaires in the world. Scottie Pippen was working to make a paycheck at one point in time. So let's understand. They're oceans.
I didn't know that.
They're oceans away. He used to work when he first retired. He was working for the Bulls.
Okay.
He was working for the Bulls.
What was he doing?
I don't even know. Something community affairs or whatever. I don't know what the hell it was. But it wasn't as an assistant coach. It wasn't as an assistant coach. It wasn't as a player personnel dude. It wasn't as an assistant to the VP or the GM. It wasn't none of that.
Right.
It wasn't none of that.
Got you.
Really, it wasn't.
Cool. So, I wanted to ask you now, I want to move on to Bob Myers.
Sure.
So, he's leaving, he left Golden State. I seen you allude that the owner's son may be moving into the
Cant
gym. Exactly. I'm thinking that Bob Myers wants to get the hell out of there because players are getting older, contracts are coming up, and I think he gets really personal with his players. Even like, real quick, even like when Kevin Durant towards Achilles or whatever, he's up there crying and really emotionally involved with the players. I believe that Draymond's contract is coming up soon, Klay's contract is coming up soon, and they're going to want to get paid because they have a personal relationship with Bob Myers. Do you think that has any part of him leaving?
You can make an argument about that. I would respectfully disagree, and I say respectfully because I understand it's a very reasonable conclusion to draw.
Right.
But I think, here's what I think, and this is just my personal opinion, as somebody that knows the owner. I'm very cool with Joe Lacob. I'm very cool with Draymond and those guys. And here's the deal, and I know Bob Myers very well. When you're working for an owner, Joe Lacob is demanding. That brother ain't playing. He want to win. He wants to eclipse the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers for the most championships in NBA history. We both got 17. he not BSing. I mean, he will take his money and pour it right back into the franchise because the franchise in itself, its value elevates, and as a result, you make your money that way. But he's not playing. He don't care. He don't care about spending 300, 400 million in luxury taxes. He don't care. I mean, he's that fixated on winning. That's a pressure cooker of a situation to live in, especially when he has 2 children who want to do your job.
Right.
In Kirk and Kent. More so Kent, running the G League operations, et cetera. You got cats that really, really believe they can do this. And so that's his children. They're the heir apparent. You know that if you Bob Myers, you don't won 4 championships, you been to 6 in the last 9 years, NBA Finals, that is. What else do I have to prove? Why be here for this? You see what I'm saying? And so what you want to do is you want to position yourself to get a better situation. Could be the Clippers, could be the Phoenix Suns, but what you do is you start off at a place that don't have a championship on their resume. In the Clippers case, ever, and in the Suns case, recent memory. And so if you have that going on for yourself, then you're able to position yourself based on the credentials that you built at that pressure cooker to sit up there and say, I have a more peaceful scenario, a more tranquil scenario with not as much pressure. And I think that, to me, I haven't spoken to him about that as of yet, but to me, I would surmise that played a bigger role than what you expressed.
Gotcha. Why don't you think they give Mark Jackson a job or offer him a job?
I think my personal opinion is that Mark Jackson expressed some things when he was the coach of the Golden State Warriors that turned some people off, and they haven't forgiven him.
Right.
I understand the times that we're living in, the woke culture and all of that stuff. You got xenophobia, you got transphobia, you got homophobia and all of that stuff going on. But back then, it was really just beginning.
Right.
And him being a religious brother that had endured some trials and tribulations and found God and was more religious than ever before, my personal opinion is that Mark Jackson spoke out about some things, turned a few folks off, and they never let it go. And so I think that because there's no excuse for him not to have had a head coaching job by now, considering the job he did in Golden State that set things up for Steve Kerr, and B, the success that Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors have had. Tradition shows that if you have that kind of success, then what somebody would say is, look at the success Golden State is having. I know Mark Jackson was going, but he's the one that put all of this stuff in play. And so because he put all of this stuff in play, Draymond Green with Clay, a couple of years after Steph arrived, because all of this stuff was put in play, Mark Jackson's got something to do with it. Let him do it for us. That's what would usually happen. That did not happen in this particular situation. I believe that's the reason why.
So why doesn't that transfer forward? You said you made notion of Bob Myers and how he's able to go to another team. Why hasn't Mark Jackson, you think, been able to go to?
I'm saying that to be
quick. Put all that together.
I'm saying what I said. Mark Jackson spoke out. If you remember, of course they wanted him to do some things. They would like to talk to whatever. He's very dogged, very strong-willed, and wants to do things his way. One of certain assistant coaches, but he had also spoken out when people were celebrating the president coming out and acknowledging that he was homosexual. Mark didn't vibe with that at the time.
Okay.
And so because of that, again, that's just my personal opinion. It's something that I've said on TV in the past, where when you echo certain sentiments, if the industry turns against you because of it, it's pretty hard to be re-embraced by that industry. And I think that's the challenge that he's been dealing with.
Right. Let me ask you this.
Although no one will admit it.
Right. And I already kind of assumed that, but nobody likes to talk about it. Let me ask you this. What do you feel about players missing games and not giving explanations of why they miss games, and then get mad at media for assuming whatever they want to assume?
Well, first of all, I think they're full of it, and I don't like it, and I'm going to call their asses out every chance I get. I don't care.
We said some things, not to cut you off, we said some things about, when Andrew Wiggins missed games and nobody knew what was going on, so they're like, oh, y'all jumping the gun. But the whole thing is, with us, we're like, if you don't explain us, we're going to assume. Right. Because we're not been in there as long as you
I'm not talking about something like that. Like, for example, Andrew Wiggins had some family issues going on that were very personal.
Right.
You don't want to talk about that, that's fine.
Right.
I'm going because of a family matter.
Right.
You're not saying I'm going because, you're not on drugs and not telling the world you're on drugs or alcohol.
In the beginning, it wasn't no family matter. It just said he's missing.
Right.
It was like,
And they shouldn't do that, but the teams have their way of doing things, and a lot of times the players do get a bad rap because the teams are the ones that control their message instead of them. A lot of times when they're skipping time, it's because the team sat up there and said, you ain't playing. Strength and conditioning coaches and stuff like that, team doctors, we signed you to this contract, we're trying to preserve you for it. We make our most money come playoff time. We need you then, we don't need you out there now. There are teams that put their fingerprints on things and influence stuff to some degree. So that's accurate. I'm talking about the players that, you going home in April every year.
Right.
And you exercising load management during the season.
Right.
Or even if you go into the playoffs and, you missing 20, 25 games, but you on the bench in street clothes. You clearly healthy. You smiling, chilling, living your life. Fans came through the turnstiles to see you. They got no heads up, no warning whatsoever that you wouldn't be playing, and you don't seem to give a shit. Now that's a problem.
Right.
That's something that has to change. You can't have that going on.
Right.
You can show, if you listen, my attitude is this: you get a minimum of 5 months off.
Yeah.
You get a minimum of 5 months off in most situations. 28 of the 30 teams get about 5 months off a year.
Right.
During the season, you ain't practicing every day. You talking about a league that was built on cats that had to fly commercial. They didn't have chartered flights. They didn't have first class. They weren't sleeping in 5-star hotels. They didn't get a per diem. They didn't have massage therapists, people for pedicures, manicures, and all this stuff. They didn't have all of that. All right, you get everything. You get everything, and you're still taking time off. And if you add it all up, take the 5 to 6 months a year you got off, combined with the time you taking off. Most of them really working 4 or 5 months a year.
Yeah.
And getting paid 9 figures.
Yeah.
Average salary in the NBA is $10 million per year.
Yeah.
And you trying to tell me that you can't show up 82 nights a year, even if you go on the court for 10 minutes. You can't just show up. Nah, come on, man. I'm not buying that. And I think they do need to be held accountable for it.
Gotcha.
But how?
Well, again, I don't know how you can do that because, again, once their contracts are guaranteed and all that stuff, me personally, I would have messed with their money.
Yeah.
I would have messed with their money. And I would be like this, yo, man, you going to sit on the bench? Not only that, you're going to sign some more bench. You're going to take some pictures. You're going to do something.
Right.
You're going to do something to earn this money. Because remember, the people ain't coming through the turnstiles just to watch you play basketball. They came to see you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so remember how Steph Curry, who's class personified, by the way, remember how Steve Kerr sat him out. And it was this little girl that they showed on TV that was crying her heart out because she came to see Steph Curry. Well, the next time Steph Curry came to town, she was there. And they made sure, he went to see her, gave her a hug, took pictures with her, hung out with her. I think, a matter of fact, she might have came to San Francisco to watch him play because she was so heartbroken. His heart was in the right place, so he made up for it. You see what I'm saying? Because he didn't know. But the point is, you got some players, not all, not most, but you got some players that don't give a damn. And if you don't give a damn, then we don't need to give a damn about paying you sometimes. We need to affect your money. We need to make sure that you're going to care about it as much as you want the fans to care about it. Because remember, everybody don't get to afford to see the playoffs.
Yeah.
I go for free. I don't pay. I got that kind of access to it. A lot of people do. Millions upon millions of people only get to see them that one time. And it's a damn shame that they don't think about that in this day and age. But there are plenty of players who do not think about that, and that is the shame.
Yeah, cool. Now, if you didn't know,